Coach, last year we finished 11-3 and made a national semifinals as parents. Obviously a very successful year. Do you see much carryover, much momentum from last season as you see the team through this spring?
Well, I don't know if it's carryover from last year or what, but I do see our work ethic being better than maybe in previous years. I see our consistency of practice much better. Every day we go on the field, we practice well, we practice hard, sometimes we make mistakes, but we are working at it, and it really looks like it means a lot to our players, and I think that's something that has built over the last couple years with the successes that we've had.
Coach, coming into this year, certainly externally, the addition of Mike Paulus, a transfer student from the University of North Carolina, has drawn a lot of attention and a quarterback position in general. How has the quarterback battle gone so far this spring?
Well, the quarterback situation has been kind of interesting. Really, we got Mike Paulus, who came in from North Carolina, who's jumped in and has had to learn a lot in a short period of time. And you got Brent Caprio, redshirt freshman, who was on the team last year and traveled but did not play. Really, those two have been going back and forth in their live situations. But again, our other two quarterbacks, DJ Mangus and Mike Callahan, were backups last year, and both of them sustained knee injuries, and now that's kept them out of contact this spring. So they've been involved. They've been competing between themselves in passing situations, and the other two have been competing in all situations. So really, there's four quarterbacks battling, and I really don't anticipate having a definitive answer at the end of spring. I just hope we're making progress.
Coach, with the rest of the offense, obviously our calling card next year will be probably John Grimes, and one of the most credentialed players we've ever had, certainly through 2 years of playing. How has the rest of the offense looked to this point in spring?
I think the offense has lacked consistency this spring. Now, number one, you mentioned John, and certainly he's an outstanding player, and be honest with you, we've limited his reps in the spring. I mean, he doesn't have to prove to me. I don't think he needs to practice running the football. He's pretty good at that. So again, we're trying to look at other areas of the offense, primarily pass protection, primarily the passing game, reads and routes, and some days have been better than others. We have not shown the consistency we need to have offensively yet.
Offensively, we had one of the best units, certainly in the nation, maybe in our school's history last year. We lost some very talented players from that team. How has that unit looked to you so far this spring?
Well, first, the defense has looked good. They've played well. And, you don't replace the kind of guys like an Adrian Tracy and Sean Lissamore and those kind of guys overnight by any stretch of the imagination. But we've got some good returning people. Jake Trenton at the middle linebacker position has kind of set the tone for us defensively. And I really have been pleased about the intensity of our defense. I think we really got something from last year about the way we played last year. That has carried over to the spring, and we've got some guys maybe playing at a higher level than they've played before.
Coach, we graduated both senior safeties from last year's squad. How has that position looked to you in spring specifically?
Well, in the safety position, obviously, we've had to start over again. We did not have anybody that had played really any. And one of the things that has looked good late has been Terrell Wells, who's been a corner for us. We put him back at the safety, and he's really kind of taken off and done real well there. And Brian Thompson, who was a backup last year, has jumped in there. And then we've got several other young guys that are competing for playing time, and they're doing solid. I don't know if we've tested them enough this spring, but we're coming along. We're not there yet, but we're coming along at the safety position.
Coach, we're preparing to play our spring game on Saturday. Obviously, you've seen your share of these out here, but for this year's fan, what would you be excited to see from a fan's perspective on Saturday?
Well, if I was a fan, I'd come in and want to look at the quarterbacks. I want to see who can throw the football, what kind of decisions they can make, and see if they can do anything. Going against, the thing you got to realize, we're going against a pretty good defense with our offense. I mean, their defense is really good. Our linebackers are very good. I'd want to watch our linebackers play, but I'd be curious to see how Caprio and Paulus handle the pressure that our defense brings.
Coach, we're almost through the whole spring now, and I just give you a general feel of how you feel about your 2010 Tribe team going into this fall.
Well, I'm excited because they're excited. They're excited. They're looking forward to it, and they're holding themselves to a high standard. I mean, they were pleased with what they accomplished last year, but I've really been interested to see how they've handled it, and they have not been complacent. They've talking about taking it even further, and I know they want to do it next year, so they're working hard to get good for next year.